Wait.
Hello guys, Ray here. Welcome back to my channel. I thank you so much for tuning in. So today I do have another exciting live stream for you guys. This is a fellow YouTuber. He's called Rashid Freestyler. He is a Ugandan YouTuber based in Dubai, and of course he does other work as well. So we're going to have a conversation with him, and we want to try to understand why are young people leaving Africa to go to different countries to look for work to do, because we do believe Africa has each and everything. We have the resources, we have each and everything, I believe for sure. God has blessed us just like any other country or any other continent. So why do young people keep living even when we have everything? So he is going to share with us his experience, and he is also going to help us understand. And of course, he's also going to tell us, how life is like, when you're living in such a country. So I'm going to add him on the stream shortly. And of course, when you join, make sure that you do give the stream a thumbs up. Make sure that you like it. If you're not subscribed, make sure that you do subscribe. And of course, get to the live chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and of course, I say hello, I say your name as well. And yeah, so let's do this stream. And yes, so I'm going to so I'm going to add Rashid, and then we can have the chat. Hello, Rashid.
Hi everyone. Should we wait for some people to come? Should we wait
I
for
think we
some
can
few
begin the
minutes?
conversation.
It's okay.
Yeah, because I'm looking at people who are going to watch it later, so people can always
Oh,
catch us along the way.
perfect,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay,
okay. Hi
so would you
guys.
kindly introduce yourself?
Hi guys. Hi everyone who's tuning in. My name is Rashid. Freestyler is another name, but my real name is Rashid, and I'm a Ugandan content creator based in the UAE. And of course, I'm also a Ugandan in the diaspora. I live in Dubai, or I live in Sharjah, but Sharjah and Dubai, they are two nearby Emirates. So I live in Sharjah. Yeah, basically that's my short, brief introduction.
Okay, I thank you so much for joining me today. So my first question to you would be, you are young,
Yes.
why did you
Okay.
leave Uganda to find work in Dubai?
Okay. So basically, yeah, as you said, I'm young. I'm in my early 20s. But the major reason what like for the major reason to why I left for Dubai was that the situation back home in Uganda, it's not that favorable, whether you're educated, whether you're whether you're skilled, whether you're talented. So that's majorly why I left, Uganda, and came over to Dubai to look for better and greener pastures.
Wow, so you had failed to get a job in Uganda, that's what you're trying to say, and you then
Not
got a job in Dubai.
not really. I had not failed to get a job in Uganda at that time, but I had just finished my my A level. Like how the education system is in Uganda. So once I completed, O level, I went for A level, but I just took the shortest cut. I was like, no job hunting. I was like, no job, no job hunting in Uganda. Let me just, take this direct route.
Okay,
Yeah,
so did your parents have the money to take you up to university,
yeah,
or did you feel the need, or did you
yeah.
just want to go out there and start making your own money? You just didn't feel the need to go to university or
I never
college?
felt it because all my siblings, they're having bachelors. Like all my elder siblings, they're having bachelors. But for me, I was like, um, instead of consuming my time, because I looked at my friends who are who had graduated from the university. like um, I imaged it out, like they went to the university, they got their bachelors, but they came back home and sat for for years, not a single year, but for years, jobless, doing my like manual work, So I was like, for me, instead of going to the university and you know consume my 3 years, I can get these 3 years, go uh, secure the bag, and of course see education later on.
Okay, so how has it been
Yeah.
so far for you? How long have you been in Dubai and how has the experience been?
I've been in Dubai for 3 years now, and to be very honest, things have been quite things got easier, but sometimes the hustle is real. It's like there are so many ups and downs.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
when you left Uganda, what kind of job were you doing?
In Uganda,
No, when
like
your first job in Dubai, when you got there, what kind of job were you offered to do? Because you're not highly educated, you don't have like
yeah,
a degree, you
a
know?
degree. Yeah.
Yeah, so what kind of job were you doing?
No,
Or
like
are
at
you
first,
doing currently? Yeah.
currently I'm a social media, manager. Like I manage social media pages for a certain company, and on top of that, I'm a videographer. So basically, when I reached in Dubai, I did a certain job while expanding, my knowledge into filmmaking. So I slowly invested into my gear. I bought like some small equipments, and of course while taking the small course into videography, while and of course while learning YouTube tutorials. So yeah, I ended up becoming a videographer.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
started out doing casual work, right? I'm assuming, and then you saved up some money to develop your photography skills around on the side. Because I
Perfect.
looked at your Instagram profile, you are a
Yeah.
cinematographer, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
you're into creating videos,
Yeah.
and you said you're also into your social media. So is that like your full-time job at the moment?
At the moment, yes, it's my full-time job.
It's your full-time job? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think the situation right now is better for you compared if you were in Uganda?
Probably I would say that home is home. No matter how hard the situation is, wherever you will be, home will still be, the best place for someone. But so far, things are quite a little bit better than in Uganda.
Things are a little bit better in Uganda, eh?
Yeah,
Okay, interesting.
exactly.
So since you've
But
been
still, home is
working,
home.
mm, of course, home is home. Yeah. So why do you think? Because every day I see very many Ugandans, very young, especially women. I believe women are going to these, not only UAE,
To the Arab
Saudi
countries.
Arabia,
Yeah,
Oman, Jordan, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, very many countries where they're going to look for job. And the reason I
I would
believe is
re-
because,
I would request 1 minute, just a minute.
okay,
All right.
mhm. Okay, my guest needs a moment to himself, which is okay. So, hi guys, I see you in the comment section. Hi, Mr. Truth. Hi, MG. Wakazi Fitness. Hi, Fabian. Thanks, guys, for joining the live stream. Yeah. So yeah, the topic is I just want to understand why very many youths are leaving Uganda, not only Uganda, but even very many other African countries to go and look for greener pastures elsewhere. Because I believe Africa will have each and everything. So why do young people feel the need, to leave their country and to go and find money or work elsewhere, why don't they choose to hustle here? Because just like Rashid has told us, things are not easy, when they go there, things are not easy. Some of them get into problems, they get mistreated. Some of them are going to work and then they fail to get paid. Last year, during when the COVID situation happened, we had a very, very many cases in Uganda of young people who died just because some of them were starving. I wish I could like link for you articles to show you guys. but some of them were starving, some of them would commit suicide in these different countries, but mostly Arab countries within the Middle East. So Rashid is going to help us understand today, and yeah, it just beats my understanding, why people choose to leave Uganda, to go elsewhere. Yet it's difficult there. It's also difficult here. It's not easy anywhere. So that's what we are trying to understand. Yes. So Rashid is back, but Rashid, his microphone is switched off. So I don't know why. Let me wait for him to first put on his microphone. Hi, Joyce. I thank you so much for joining the stream, guys. I thank you. So, okay, thanks for coming back. Yeah. So I was still asking you, I see very many Ugandans each and every day processing passports, to go into all
Yeah.
these countries to work. So you've explained for
Okay.
us that the situation there is very difficult. The situation here
Yeah.
is also very difficult.
Very difficult.
So,
Yeah.
whereas I feel in Uganda, if you don't have food, you might not die. You might go to your neighbor and they might give you a plate of lunch, But I feel like in those
Exactly.
other countries, if you don't have food, you're probably going to die. So what I want to understand is, why don't people choose to hustle here in Uganda? Because everywhere it's difficult, Why do they choose to go and hustle in the other countries?
In the
Help
other
me
countries.
understand. Yeah.
No. First of all, like many people before they go out and hustle to other countries, uh, they might have tried hustling back home in Uganda, but things maybe uh, never went as planned. For me, I never hustled in Uganda. Like immediately when I came out of school, that's when I decided to move on. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. So that was when I decided to move on to the Emirates. But I think I think if someone is determined, like if they are really really determined to hustle back in Uganda, chances are most likely that they can make it. Like if you have a very very good strategy, chances are perfect that you can really succeed and make it out in Uganda, because Uganda is just like any other developing country. Uganda has like tons of untapped opportunities. So if someone comes up with a good strategy, if someone is fairly financially stable, they're most likely to make it out. What matters most in Uganda is having the strategy, and that's
Okay.
why like many
So,
people, yeah, and that's why that many people who have decided to move out of the country, they haven't, like the majority, the big majority, they haven't tried applying different strategies while in Uganda.
okay, so you've mentioned something about having a capital. So are you trying to imply that in Uganda you have to have money to do something, whereas if you go to the UAE, you don't have to have any money? Because what I've realized, I do have
Yeah,
friends who are in the travel industry. When they are going to take, when their recruitment companies, they will process for you your passport, they'll process for you each and every document. All you need, they'll buy for you your air ticket. So they make it very easy, for young people to come. And unfortunately, most young people don't have money, just like you've said, they're just finished school. Of course, if you're done with school in Uganda, no one is going to give you a job. Unless you work for your parents, if they're lucky to have it
exactly.
as well. So are you trying to say that it's easy to start from zero when you go that side compared to Uganda?
Actually, if you want to start from zero, like when you come, like before you come to Dubai, there is a possibility that you can also make it. But as I said, like nothing is like it can also be very difficult if you want like to start from zero, because most of these companies that process for you everything, like from the air ticket, the visa and all that stuff, they are most likely going to be paying you uh, way, way, way less compared, to the standards of living. So if someone um, prepares everything for them, like, because also, like, also coming to the UAE requires some capital. it might not be as much as that one, like required to start up a successful business in Uganda, but it also does require capital, like capital in a certain way, because if you're to come to the UAE, most companies, they can do it for you for free. There are some agencies that do it for free, but majority of the agencies give out freebies. They often, um, end up underpaying the people they, bring up to here.
Okay. So if you
Yeah,
talk about money, because at the end of the day, everyone is trying to make money, how much on
yeah,
average, if you're free, you can share with us how much you've made, especially when you're just beginning out. Because maybe 3 years later, you said you're in a better position. But how much
yeah.
is someone likely to make as a casual worker? Because I know most of them are like security guards, maybe shop attendants. So how much are
Mhm.
they likely to make on a monthly basis?
On a monthly basis, it depends. For security guards, they often get around between 2M to, to 3.5, depending on their experience, and also depending on the type of company they are working for. For shop attendants,
That's
like,
about
yeah,
$500 a month,
yeah, uh, that's
or
probably
maybe
about
anywhere between
yeah,
500 to a thousand
$500.
dollars. Mm.
Yeah, anywhere between 500 to $1,000, depending on the company you're working for and depending on your experience. Like, that is the salary range for most jobs in the UAE, for more for
And
majority
then
of the
the
jobs.
and then the house girls, because I know most females go to work as housekeepers, house helper. How
Housekeepers,
much do they
yeah,
make?
make anywhere, I think, between 800, sorry, uh 200, and between anywhere between $200 to $400, like the majority of them.
Which is very little money. $200, that's very little
Yeah,
money.
yeah,
Wow, interesting.
the
So
majority
I've seen,
of them within that
mm,
sector.
okay. So I want you
Yeah,
to comment about last year, 2020, because it's not only Uganda, Nigeria, Ethiopia, um, yes, it was mainly even Kenyans as well.
Kenyans, yeah.
Very, very many of them died, especially in Saudi Arabia. This is news, like everyone saw the stories. So, guys, I'm not attacking any country because this was on the internet. Everyone saw this, they were starving. So, I want you to tell us, why did very many young people die? Because I was touched personally, Ugandans were crying out on social media. Each and every day would see clips of young women, who are like in a room, locked up, are sweating. Yeah, I know that place is very hot, they were
Yeah,
crying.
I
Some
understand
of
very
them
well.
committed suicide. Someone like jump from off a building, and fall down. Like, it was very horrible. So I want you to tell us, help us understand that situation that happened last year. I think right now it is okay, but why was it very terrible last year? What exactly happened?
As we know, for me personally, I saw some of uh, those things in the news, but I didn't see as like many, like much of it. But probably, if we look at, like, if we rewind 2020 and look back at where it started from, 2020 started with the COVID pandemic. As we know, many people lost their jobs, first of all, and like many families that hire, casual workers, weren't able to afford, maybe paying them. Some people, like some other, casual workers, like they ended up losing their jobs. So airports were closed, like almost within the entire 2020. So people were like kind of stranded. And sometimes if you're stranded, like you don't know when your home country is going to open up. You kind of get disoriented, and like that was when these like stories kept on coming in, that people, they are suffering. Like some people, they are locked up in rooms because sometimes like sometimes like when you encounter like major problems, like for example loss of your job and in a foreign country, things can get, like things can easily turn up against you. So I think that's why um these stories came up in 2020. I can really attribute it to the pandemic, in my own,
Okay.
personal opinion. Yeah, because like right now, the entire globe is like right now the entire globe is recovering from the pandemic, and as you can see, like we are no longer hearing and seeing these people being repatriated back home.
Okay. So
Yeah,
if I may ask you, I understand that when one is to travel, you go through
yeah,
a travel agent, right?
yes, the majority.
So most of the times, yes, you go through a travel agent. So what I want to understand is who is responsible, because people were on the street, people were starving. Probably some of them, of course, they never got paid. For example, if the employer lost the job, and maybe some of them, their contracts expired, and then airports were locked, and then they were stranded. If your boss
Yeah,
kicks you out of the home because your contract has expired, and then the airport is locked, you're literally stranded. So I want to understand who is responsible. Is it the Ugandan government? Um, who is in charge, in case of such a situation?
um the person who would be in charge, first of all, it would be uh the agency that recruit, like the agency that recruited that person. That would be the first person, like sorry, that would be the first firm in charge, like responsible. And also the Ugandan government, because Ugandan government, like sorry, and also the government back home, it's also responsible in a way that it has an embassy, and it's supposed like to to hear these matters from the people who are living in that particular country or area. So probably first of all, I think it's the agency and the government of where that person is coming from.
Okay. So whom do you
Yeah.
think failed? Because I feel like somewhere, someone must have failed. Do you think some employers failed to treat their employees in a good way? Do you think our government failed to help its own people? Do you think the travel agents failed? Help me understand. Why do you think the
I
problem was? Or is
I think
everyone have a part to share?
I think the general problem, I can't really attribute the problem maybe to the government or to the agency, because but I think the problem was brought up by the pandemic. It was it was the pandemic to blame, and of course we can't blame the pandemic, because
No.
if there wasn't a pandemic
So yes, we have the pandemic, right?
yeah,
But we are looking at
yeah,
a scenario where someone is stuck. You understand? So when
yeah,
someone is stuck, I don't think someone should reach a point of starving. You know, I don't think someone should reach a point of being frustrated so much that they have to kill themselves. You understand? Yes, the pandemic happened, but you find ways of dealing with it's
of
like a
dealing with it.
disaster. When a disaster happens, you have to deal with it. So when you fail to deal with it, people are going to die. It's going to kill you. So what I'm trying to ask is who failed to play their role in this situation? That's what I'm trying to. We can't blame the pandemic. The pandemic is there. We have to deal with it.
Is that exactly?
Yeah. Or is
No,
that a
because
difficult question?
it's a very very tough question. but I but I
You
think
don't like to? Okay. Yeah.
but I think if the airport was open, like if the airports in Africa, because like we know it wasn't only Ugandans or Kenyans or Ethiopians, but it was generally like an entire global thing. Like countries started closing up. Like today you would hear maybe country A closed, and tomorrow, and even before that, like the night falls, you would hear country be closed. So probably the pandemic has a blame, but I think also if the governments kept their airports open, people wouldn't have been stranded.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree with you because last year it became worse, but I'm trying to understand. Even before last year, I believe you being Ugandan, you know what I'm talking about. On
Yeah.
Facebook, because Ugandans were very active on Facebook, I have seen very many stories, horrible stories about. It's usually women. I believe women are more vulnerable compared to you, the men,
Yes.
when they come to work in these countries. So I talked about last year because last year it was worse. But then even other years, even today, we've seen stories where like some of them are mistreated. Some of them are told to do horrible things. For example, I have a story on my channel where one of them was told to like take care of a monkey. Like that's I don't know why someone would have a monkey as a pet in their home. That's a bit funny.
I understand. Yeah.
So what what usually happens? Why is it like why do people get mistreated when they get there? Especially women. I've not had very many cases with the men. I think men you're not as vulnerable as the women. But what do you think usually happens? Why do they get mistreated? Why do they have to go through all these horrible experience? Not all of them. We've also
Not
seen
all of
good
them.
stories. We've
Yeah.
seen a lady recently who built a house, by working
That,
in an Arab country. We've also seen another lady who was working for actually a YouTuber, Khalid, and the wife. She was also very happy with her employer. We've seen very many good stories, but I
coming
would
out.
say majority of them are horrible. So looking at those majority, what is usually the problem? That's what I want to understand.
Sorry, I was reading the comments, so that's why I'm laughing. But
Okay. Mhm.
for me, first of all, based on my own personal experience, uh, my stay within the Gulf, like I have interacted with very, 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 like very, very, very many nationalities, and by far the locals, the Arabs, because most of these people who come, they work in Arabic houses, and the Arabs, they are by far the best people I've ever met, to be very honest. So I think some of our sisters, some, I won't say all of them, but majority, some of them, you know, um, they come expecting maybe not to work, but when they reach there, there is real work, and these people, um, if you're hardworking, they will treat you like they will treat you right. But most of our sisters come with other expectations. Maybe they come thinking that it would be something where they would come like wake up in the morning, make tea, uh, go ahead, watch Netflix and go ahead do some small work and rest. But when they come here and then they find the situation to be real, like you have to work because you're here to work. So why would you go ahead and chill? That's how they end up starting to get frustrated, and they're like, no, we can't manage. And at the end of the day, it kind of builds certain tensions between them and their employers, and that's how these escalations
Guys,
like
I don't
come
know
up.
what that was.
It was a
Sorry,
network
guys,
breakdown.
sorry about that. Okay.
It's
You're
okay.
still explaining about the sisters, yes.
Yeah. So for me, I won't really blame the Arab sisters because sorry, the Arab brothers and sisters, but I would really focus more on our sisters because girls who work in house. I don't know if there is anyone who is watching me, but I'm so sorry to say this. Not all of them, because if you see those who behave right, they get treated right. Those who don't, they end up causing escalations between them and their employers. That's why, and for me, like most of the people I've interacted with in the Gulf, by far the local Arabs are the best people. To be very honest, in my own personal experience, they're the best people around.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting because I've just had very many stories, from the women as well who have been mistreated by their bosses, so locked up in houses, beaten while bleeding. Um, so I think it's interesting that you actually think. So do you think these scenarios happen or they actually don't happen? Or
Of
do you
course,
think they happen because the sisters are in wrong?
not all sisters will be in wrong, but uh, I can't rule out the fact that 100%. Um, the people they work for, they are right. Also, like you can encounter some people who are not, right. But majorly for me, I think if our sisters come up and they like with their own determination, like because if they come on the same determination, like the way they came before, I don't think they would encounter such scenarios.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read some comments from the viewers. Let's see. There are very many. So let's see what Mwakazi Fitness says. It says, but our leaders have sold our souls to enrich themselves, sold our gold, diamonds. There is no richer continent as Africa. That's very true. Mr. Truth says sexual deviance, the reason the women all treated like they are. Alice says, I'm glad you're doing well in Dubai, my brother. And then Mr. Truth says he can't say too much bad things because he's still in their country. I thought so as well. You have to be nice. Fabian says the brothers and sisters are being held as slaves in Libya, so he definitely doesn't agree with your views or your opinion. Marcus says the Ghana president made us proud when he locked out the cocoa from being flown to foreign countries, opted to process it themselves. Yes, man. Nana Addo is doing great for Ghana. So, yes, Ghana is no longer exporting coffee. That's what he's talking about. And foreigners buy cheaper coffee and go and process it and sell it as Nescafe, which is very expensive. Okay, yeah, interesting. So, Rashid, there question I would have to ask you.
Yeah.
Yes, just like you said, because I do follow very many YouTubers, especially who are into travel videos, I watch Joe Hatab, who is my friend, Joe. I watch Drew Brinsky. I watch, of course, Khalid and the wife. I watch this guy, it's called Ne. There's this, what is his name? He does like very nice, a short video. Okay, I've forgotten his name. He's like a very
Nas
energetic guy.
Daily.
Yes, I watch Nas Daily. I watch very many YouTubers, I also watch this guy who eats a lot, Mark Waynes. I'm trying to see the experiences that I've seen. I've watched very, very many of them, and many of them have made very nice, kind comments about people in the Arab countries as being some of the most kind people that I've come across,
Perfect.
talking very
They
positively
are.
about them. But then I'm also so confused as to how they can be very kind. These are general statements. I'm just making general statements based off observations of YouTube. It's so confusing for me because I see vloggers who go to, like, for example, Pakistan, and eat free food on the street the entire day because they won't let them pay. And then I still see sisters and brothers who go to these same countries. I'm assuming these are the same people, but they starve and die, like especially what happened in Saudi Arabia last year. So it's very confusing for me, really. Which one is which? Which one is which? Is it because this
I'm
is
still
done for the
laughing.
camera? I
I'm
mean, help
still
me
laughing at.
understand.
I'm still laughing at William Media's comment. Hi Liam, how are you, bro? So to
Mm,
say, for me, I think to be very honest, like I said, I've interacted with very very many nationalities. All people here they are
mm,
very nice. Of course, some nationality, but some nationalities are much more uh, welcoming and accommodating than than others, and that is to say, the Emirati people, like the local Arabs, they are they're very very kind. So if someone wakes up and says that ABCD about um the local Arabs, I wouldn't really agree, because like even most of my friends, they are Arabs.
okay.
And they
Interesting.
are very very kind. Like if you
Okay. I mean,
get a chance
personally,
to
when
see
I went to
them and,
Dubai,
and interact with
mm,
them, I think you can see them like based on their interactions.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't disagree with you. I also had a very nice experience when I traveled to
experience. Yeah,
Dubai, but as a tourist, so as a treated like a
but as well.
tourist, I had the best experience here. So I would like to ask you again, would you advise young people, to hustle in Uganda, or would you advise them to go out to Dubai? Which one is a better option?
Sorry.
Would you advise young people living Uganda, to go and work in different countries? Because my personal take is I feel, yes, we do have Uganda as a country, we do have challenges, but at the same time, young men and women are the ones who are meant to build the country, right? So if we have them leaving
Exactly.
every day, it's like who is going to stay here, If we have all these resources, like who is going to do something for the country? So would you advise, because if there is a young person out there right now, they are thinking, should I stay? Should I go? What should I do? What would you advise them to do?
No, it
Because
depends
you've
on the
had
type
both
of job.
experiences.
Yeah, I think it depends on the type of job they're going to do outside. But if there is an opportunity, if there is an opportunity to come and try your luck, because like I said, first of all, the media, like the media, it's a it's a tricky thing. First of all, the media always loves highlighting the bad side over the good side, but there are so many um young people who came maybe who came from African countries, and they are prospering in the Arab world. So many of them. So for me, I would advise someone like to give it a try, because to be very honest, the situation back home, it's not that good in Uganda. Like things might not be at their best in the Arab world, but way back Uganda, things are quite more tougher. That's my own personal
Okay.
eye and opinion.
Opinion, eh?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I would advise, like, if someone gets a better pay, and of course with better standards of living, I would advise them to come over and try their luck.
Okay. Thank you. So let me read some
You're
comments in the
welcome.
comment section.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so Fabian says he's glad you're doing well for yourself and he understands why your statements come forth carefully. Okay.
I'm not doing well, because life has um so many hassles, and
Yeah.
like always whenever we are on social media, we always show the positive side, but regardless we move because we keep on you know back living the negative side. So
So that's why you're
don't
only
think that
telling
everything
us
you
the
see
positive side, eh?
so don't think that everything you see uh things are good.
Okay.
Things can be negative on
Mm,
the other side.
okay, interesting. And then, so someone here, Kathy says, guys, the truth told, Uganda is not a safe place to stay. Tuba Haura, that is the president, said they are going to employ the sons and daughters of the rich. So some of us with low backgrounds, must we
That's
stay
it.
and be slaves? No way. So guys,
Exactly.
I've dropped a link. If you want to join the discussion, please join the discussion. I'm going to drop it again. I'm assuming Kathy is
Eileen,
also a Ugandan living in an Arab country because I see some
I
of
ha-
your names is written in Arabic.
I have a feeling
So
too.
recently, what Kathy is talking about is that the president made a comment because Uganda has a lot of corruption. He believes that the poor people are very corrupt. So when they come in government with all the hunger, they steal all the money. So he says we shall instead be employing sons of the people who are in a middle income, so that since those ones are not very hungry, maybe they won't steal the
Exactly.
money. Which
Yeah.
personally, I think that's not a solution, honestly. But I can't talk a lot about politics, but I don't think that's a solution.
That's
But
why
guys, if anyone
that's
wants to
why
join the stream, then feel
a
free to
village
join
boy
the
like
live
me
stream.
from a humble family, with a humble background, I decided to be like, no way, let me go and try, my hustles out somewhere else.
So if I Interesting. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I do understand that,
Yeah.
Yes, so Ronald says, hi, Ronald. This is my subscriber. I haven't seen him in a long time. I'm hearing it's very bad in Uganda due to COVID-19 and lockdown. People are literally starving. Yes, because the situation is definitely quite tough in Uganda at the moment because of the lockdown. And very many Ugandans, we don't work online, Like me, a YouTuber, I work from home. But even when you work from home, but most people go to work each and every day. So most people are casual workers, they hustle each and every day.
Each and every day.
So
Yeah.
those people who are just home at the moment, some of them don't have what to eat, they don't know what to eat. So it's very challenging for them. But then I also read that the government puts aside a fund of maybe about 56 billion Uganda shillings that is going to send out to some of these people. So definitely the situation is not good in Uganda. That I will agree. Says I could join, but I'm in bed naked. I join you guys. The internet would be blocked. They'll call it elite X-rated
X-rated.
content. Okay. So Mr. Truth wants to join the stream. Hi, Mr. Truth.
Hey, how you doing, Ray?
Okay. I'm doing
Hello,
great.
Mr.
How are you? Hi, Mr. Truth.
Hey, how you doing, Ray?
Okay. So you reduce the volume in your background because you can hear ourselves. See, first reduce the volume of the stream. Hello?
I've been seeing Mr. Truth on your channel for a long time.
Hey, I'm trying to see what's going on. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can. Can you hear us?
Okay, yeah,
Hello?
I'm trying to add my video, but some of it. Yeah, I hear you, Ray.
Can you hear us?
Hello?
Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Okay, Mr. I'm going to let me first continue my conversation, with Rashidia. So very interesting, the way you've made your comments. It's very, very interesting. Let me see. I would love to host any Ugandan YouTuber who is just looking for a condition to make content. Okay. Yes. So
probably I think when I come over to Kenya, you will be my host.
Yes. So my question that I would like to ask you as well, again, Rashid, is
yes,
what has been your bad experience? Because you've already told us, of course, you only show the positive things online, but at the same time, also want to be as realistic as possible because people watch these channels to get advice most of the time. They also want to learn, they want to understand certain problems and why things happen the way they are. So don't lie to me that you haven't had any bad experience because I know that's a lie. So kindly share with us. That's if you don't mind sharing.
just a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, like I won't say that things have been like smooth throughout. I've had some ups and downs, of course, just like any other person anywhere in the world. And I think the most challenging part that I faced was I don't know if it's okay to talk about it, but
it's fine.
I think I'll talk about it next time. But but just know that life is is challenging at the times.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay, that's
Life
fine. Okay, that's fine.
Life hasn't been smooth all throughout.
But I mean, of course, you have to keep it moving. I understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, Mr. Truth, you're welcome to the stream. How are you?
Good, and yourself?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you for joining.
Hey, sorry about it earlier. I was trying to log on my laptop, but for some reason it worked better with my phone.
Okay. So kindly share your views or whatever you want to share.
Well, I agree with him what he's saying 100% because one thing I learned about the Arab, well, people in the Middle East, they have tribes just like, continental Africans do. And depending on what tribe that you deal with, you see the attitude, it differs. Because I was in Kuwait, and one thing I know about the Kuwaitis, and then like in the early 90s, that a lot of them, they don't do no domestic work. They hire foreigners to come in and do domestic work. A lot of people from like the Philippines and, and a lot of African countries. So I can see what he was saying, like it, really depending on where you're at. But just like somebody else was saying about the people in Libya, yeah, Libya they got a bad attitude when it comes down to like the people that not Libyan. A lot of Africans that were going to Libya, of course, they were getting caught up in the little slave trade and a lot of other stuff. So I agree with what he's saying about the location.
Yes, I agree with you as well. And that's very true. But also most of the Arab countries, the populations are very small. So I believe like the UAE, maybe 10% of the entire population are nationals, whereas the rest are all foreigners. So they can't survive without foreign labor.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's a reason as well. Yeah, but yeah, sure, I do agree with you.
But one more thing I would like to say, Ray, is one thing that I noticed that a lot of continental Africans don't have. Is like when they go to these different countries, they don't have something already set up like a lot of these foreigners do. A lot of foreigners, before they even go to a country, they already have their housing, work permits, green card. They already have all that stuff laid out. But from what I've been seeing from like a lot of continental Africans, some of them do have it laid out for them, but not at the point where a lot of these other foreigners do. They come into America, they already have a job start waiting on when they get here, somewhere to stay in, just a better situation. I just put it like that.
Yeah. So as someone is commenting about your accent and your English, Mr. Truth English is hard. I hope everyone has earphones to listen in carefully. And that's very true. I also can't pick everything you're saying, honestly. I've heard you talk about the small populations and you being in Kuwait, but the accents, we all speak English, but the accents are quite different. Yeah. So someone, how do we get employment for Ugandans? So many young Africans can't find employment even after completing the studies. Mr. Truth, let me know if you have an idea about this before I share mine. How do you create more employment in Uganda or maybe any other African country?
Well, actually, I think that, the harder thing that I've seen going on with a lot of African countries is the fact that y'all ship a lot of y'all raw material out the country. I mean, y'all need to actually start building more manufacturing places because it just seems like for some reason, a lot of African countries don't have manufacturing buildings, but manufacturing places. A lot of stuff that y'all have, y'all export y'all raw material out, and then y'all buy the stuff when it come back to Africa. So maybe y'all just need to start building more manufacturing places where y'all can, produce y'all own product instead of shipping to other countries.
Yes, I do agree with you. Industrialization for sure has to be the only solution to, to create employment, because if we keep exporting all our raw materials, if you're not manufacturing anything here, then that's the truth. We won't have any employment, and this will continue going on. As someone earlier commented about Ghana, about the Ghanaian president stopping exporting their cocoa, because if you create more factories, then you can employ people, and that's very true. So Experience African says there is no place that is perfect, but we always want a smooth sail, and that's why most Africans say the Arab world is hard and people are being maltreated or mistreated.
I think he was trying to say mistreated. He's very right.
Eh?
He's very right.
Okay. And then Lynn says he's commenting about the situation in Uganda that only the vulnerable will get funds from the government, but the criteria falling under a vulnerable group is just insane. I mean, personally, I can never expect anything from the Ugandan government. You would be doomed to expect anything from the Ugandan government. If it comes, well and good, but if you can't expect anything from the Ugandan government, like a special fund, We don't have that. So
Hey, Ray, can I say this too? If the truth be told, from what I have seen from just talking to other people from different countries, like working at the different embassies and everything, from what I have seen, that it seems like people don't want Africa to get to the point where they can be self-productive. It seems like the rest of these countries, everybody depends on Africa. So if everybody depends on Africa and they could get cheap labor and cheap product from Africa, they're not gonna let Africa produce their own product. I mean, they're gonna hold Africa back as long as they can. And from what I'm seeing, it seems like that's what happened.
I agree with you as well, because Africa is feeding, I would say, the rest of the world, because these developed countries are depleted of resources. So they have to come here to get the resources. So for sure, they have to find ways of making us dependent on them, so that they keep getting the resources, because they have nothing to explore in their countries. All that there is to explore is here for sure. So I do agree with you. But I think personally, it comes back to the leaders. The leaders should know better for their people and do better for their people, because you should have policies in place, Yeah, it's policies, should have the right policies in place for sure. So Fabian says you have to manufacture goods in Uganda and sell those goods in an economy that has a higher exchange rate. Yes, that's the only way to make a country rich, or to improve the livelihood of people. Comes back to manufacturing, so that you can bring in more money. I do agree with you as well.
Hey, Ray, tell me this. Whatever happened to that? It was an African American investment group that had supposedly went to Uganda. I think it was like last year, and had invested, well, supposedly been given to invest like $100 million US. I never heard anything else about the group. Do you remember? Have you heard anything about that?
Repeat.
It was an African American investment group that had went to Uganda last year and had supposedly been investing like $100 million US. But I never knew what happened to the group. I knew they had went over there and they had did like an interview, but never heard about what happened to them for like them and the investment.
I also don't know for sure. I think I saw that. I must have seen like a news bulletin.
Yes.
But I've not seen any updates on that, if they actually did invest. But maybe what I recently saw was Akon. He came with his group of African Americans. I think most of them are from Atlanta. Some celebrity faces I could recognize. They were in Uganda for some days. They also attended the presidential swearing-in ceremony, showing interest that they want to invest in Uganda. So Uganda is very much open to investors, foreigners. I believe that's why you have very many foreigners in the country, because the country is very open to foreigners. And if you can be able to show that you have the capability to work as an investor in Uganda, then you can get a lot of benefits, a lot of tax breaks. You can also get like free land, almost free land. They would lease it to you to set up your factory if you are an investor. So it depends on how you approach your capacity, the way you come. But of course, even the small scale people are there. We also have regular people who just come and start a business in Uganda. They could be from any country, India, China, Pakistan. We have very many foreigners. You can just come and start a business in Uganda, even on a very small scale. We've sometimes seen like pictures circulating around on social media where just doing a regular business, just like any Ugandan. So it's quite a very open economy. It's quite a very open country for sure. Yeah. But I will follow up that. I'll follow up that. I'll look for that story. I really don't know what happened, if they actually did proceed. Because sometimes they could also come and just start on their project, work it on quietly. They don't have to notify the media. So Ronald says, I would like to be on a commission to ask leaders why are they hindering progress for African countries? Yeah, I mean, we're all wondering. So, Mr. Truth, I think people are commenting about your accent.
Yeah, real fast.
Yeah. Did you say you come from the southern states in the US?
Yeah, Atlanta, by 11 in Alabama.
Atlanta,
Yeah,
Atlanta and Alabama.
that's right.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's quite. Yeah, you're really fast when you're talking. So, Rashid, what else do you have to tell us about your life in? What haven't we talked about? Maybe something that people might want to know in your experience, something that people
In my
don't know
personal
that they
experience,
might want to know.
yeah,
No,
for me, what I think.
Yeah.
Please check in the private chat. But for me, what I think is, many people, they come to the Arab world with their own expectations, and when they reach here, uh, they find like they tend to find a different situation. That's why many people, end up, not reaching to where they wanted to be before they came. So for me, I would really advise someone if they want to come to to the Arab world, come prepared knowing that you're going to hustle day and night. That's it. I can't really lie about that. I can't really promise
Yeah.
that by the time you come, you will be sleeping in mansions, and then you'll be having a a 6-figure salary, and of course having personal assistants everywhere. No, no, no. You will come here, work just like
Is
anywhere
kind
in the
of
world.
stuck. All
Life is all
this
about
internet.
hustling.
Okay, I hear
Yeah,
you. You're very
life is
right.
all
It's
about
about
hustling.
the hustle. Definitely. If you
Yeah,
leave your home country
definitely.
and you're going to work, then you have to work for sure. That's
Just
about
have
it.
just be
But
determined to
I
hustle.
don't know if you guys can hear us. My guests seem to be stuck. I don't know why. But okay. Guys, I
Yeah.
don't know
So
what's going on. This internet is playing tricks on us. So what I yeah, so what
am
I
I
would like
clear?
to ask, yes, I've heard your points about they should be ready to hustle. Uh,
Perfect.
Liz is asking how long do you intend to be in Dubai? So do you intend to be there for a long time? Do you want to come back home and maybe start a business in Uganda? If you've maybe because I saw a girl who built a house out of working there, you know. I actually want to
Yeah,
invite her on the stream as well. I want her to tell
I
us
saw
her
her too as well.
experience, you know, how she
Yeah,
was able to save up money and be able to build the house. I think that was really great. So
that
for
was really
you,
great.
what is your plan if you don't mind sharing?
No, I don't really intend to stay in the Arab world for a very long time because first of all, it's not home. It's not home. I would prefer being somewhere back home, and uh, 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 staying with my family, building my own family, and of course getting to know more about and Africa at large. But I don't really intend
Okay,
to stay in Dubai
okay.
for
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
because
at the end of the
first
day,
of
I
all,
think.
in Dubai,
Mm,
uh,
oh,
it's
I
not
can't hear
offered.
you.
Well,
Could you
you
repeat the points?
might be
Mm-hmm.
a residence. Sorry, well, you can be a resident
Mm-hmm.
for as long as you want, but you can never become a citizen.
Okay, I've not clearly had that point because you're breaking. I really have not had that point. Would you repeat it?
Am I audible?
You're
I was
breaking.
they don't offer citizenship. And maybe yeah,
Oh, you're saying they don't offer citizenship. The country doesn't offer citizenship to foreigners, right? Okay, I think I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard the point that you're trying to make.
so I think that in Dubai they don't offer citizenship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I can't hear you. Your internet has become worse
Am
and
I
worse.
audible now?
No, you're not. You're not audible. Um, so hi EBM, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for
I
joining. I can't hear you, Rashid. Honestly, I can't hear you.
is
I can't hear you. You first maybe reconnect and then you can come back and we chat. You first do your reconnection because I can barely hear you. So Fabian says businesses need to be formed that operate like small governments, that businesses would take care of their employees and provide the things they need to survive. This would completely bypass politics. Okay, interesting. I wish you'd tell us that more, how businesses can operate like small governments, and if the government would allow that in the first place, if the rules and regulations would allow that in the first place. And then Rashid, you just reconnect and then you rejoin the stream because I could barely hear you. And then Amwakazi says a 60 private planes fly in and out with gold in a private runaway in Congo. They still daily force kids into child labor in mines to increase their production before Africa wakes up. Oh man, it comes back to the leaders, man. Why do Africans allow their gold to be taken, just like that, because I really don't understand, If you're not using the gold for your own benefit, why would you allow people to come and take your gold and pay you peanuts, So it's just ridiculous. Because Congo is the richest country in the world, but it's also the poorest, the standards of living, the lifestyles of the people, the incomes. I mean, it's crazy. Rashid, okay. Let's see if you're back, Rashid. Okay, yes,
yeah,
you're finally back. Okay. Yes, so you're still telling us about
apologies
citizenship
about
in
that.
UAE.
My Wi-Fi went off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was saying that in the UAE, like they don't really offer citizenship. You can be a resident for as many years as you want, but at the end of the day, it's very difficult to get citizenship, like their citizenship. It's very, 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 very difficult. So that's why I don't really intend to stay for a very long time.
Okay. I would
Yeah,
understand that. Yeah, that's very true. Because most people, if you go to another country, then you hope to become a citizen at some point so that you can
exactly.
enjoy all the benefits. Yeah.
But
Then
for
if
but
you
for me,
can't, mm,
but for me personally, I don't really think that I would really go to any country and intend to stay there for let me say for eternity, because I feel like I'm really attached to Africa and home at large.
yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Of course, East West home is best. Yeah, so this one says, without Africans in all international games, who will ever watch a race to make it big time entertainment in the fields out there? Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, so do you have any more thoughts? Guys, I think we are going to finalize the stream. Rashid, I thank you so much for joining and
it's
sharing your
been a pleasure.
experience with us. I'm glad you've talked about, a positive experience. That's really good. And I actually do have a friend or two who still do work in Dubai as well. The guys, both male and female. I have a number of them, and
Then yeah,
some will share their, other challenges. Some will show you it's all good. But at the end of the day, I think it's about working hard, and know what you want, have a plan, have a goal, and that's pretty much it, really. The embassies have certain amount that
be
they would allow
determined and
African.
committed.
Pardon?
I was saying that
Pardon?
at the end of the day,
Mm, mm.
everything requires prayer. Like I was saying that at the end of the day, each and everything requires hard work, patience, prayer, and of course persistence. So
Yes,
if
that's
someone is
very
not
true.
persistent, like anywhere out of the world, not only Dubai, not only Qatar, not only Saudi Arabia, patient and hopeful, it's very, very difficult to make it out there. Even if, like, even back home in Uganda.
Yes, I do agree with you. Yeah. Mr. Truth says embassies have a
Yes.
certain amount that they would allow Africans to be citizen in their countries. They allow people from Europe countries to get their citizenship. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But at the end of the day, Africans should just learn to love their continent, and know that we can do more because If we don't, then who will
Exactly.
do it, you know? So it's about us at the end of the day, guys. So
Yeah.
Rashid, I don't know if you have any more final thoughts or if you finalized, and then you can just end the stream. And of course, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking your time to come and join me
It's
today.
been a pleasure to be it's been a pleasure to be hosted on
Yeah.
this channel.
Yes, so guys, Rashid is a YouTuber as well. I put his link to his channel in the comment section, sorry, in the description. So make sure that you go out and check it out, see what he does. And I do like your content as well, actually. I like that you give us the drone shots.
I
Yeah,
appreciate it,
so
my sister.
I do appreciate what you're doing as well. Thank you so much, guys, and we shall see you all next time.
It's been a
Bye-bye.
it's been a pleasure. See you
Okay,
guys.
okay.